superdelegates, convention attendees, and all Americans watching, please welcome Cody, Robert, Judy.
Hello, I'm Cody Robert Judy, and I am a candidate for the office of President of the United States of America as a registered Democrat and officially recognized by the Federal Election Commission this 2016 election. One of the most important things we face as Americans is a fair and equal protection concern over our election and those processes. Political parties have come and gone in the United States of America, but the United States Constitution has not ceased being the supreme law of the land. During this Democratic National Convention week for the Democratic Party, a lot has been said about fairness and equality in protecting individual rights based upon the perceptions of inequality due to differences in gender, race, religion, culture, and even language. The United States of America is today, as it always has been, a melting pot of diversity, and that suits me just fine. I love that. I also love everything on my hot dogs and hamburgers. As a young child in school, my sister and I had the experience of going to a school as the only white kids. The other kids were black, as were the teacher and the principals. I had no idea how or why. What I do remember, though, the first day was the other children asking us if we would like an extra milk, and their being willing to part with their milk as a measure of friendship to make us feel comfortable. That kindness has reached through the decades of time and speaks to the diversity of our nation as well as my own experience as a minority. Our character, our traits, our decency, our convictions, our grace reflected in ourselves also reflect through us as a nation and are epitomized by the United States of America being of record one of the most, if not the most, charitable nation on the earth. The number one job of a parent is instinctively to protect, nurture, and teach our children. If we do not protect our children, they could die. If we do not nurture our children, they could starve. And if we don't teach or guide our children, they can become lost. That all takes precious resource and investment of time. Time that is precious as it begins the moment of our birth and is measured till we pass away and die. These are universal truths recognized by most governments. Although voting records and benefits have been at times longer lasting under the auspices of fraud, teaching our children to ignore the laws of the land is generational theft. Teaching our children how to amend the law is generational humility. One is concerned and conceived in hate, the other in love. How we handle questions of citizenship is a choice. Teaching children to ignore questions of citizenship as a lawful inheritance of place or a parent is a disrespectful guide to hate, as well as a tale of elitism, a show of unfairness, a figure of inequality. It is the demonstration of superiority and inferiority to ignore the law. The office of President and Vice President have a qualification of time in the U.S. Constitution of natural-born citizen as born in the U.S. to citizen parents or citizen at the time of the adoption of the Constitution of the United States. This time-honored qualification is distinctly American and is universally recognized by every nation on the earth. Those who want to lower the time frame have failed to do so by the proper process of amending the Constitution, but they have tried 8 times just since 2003. It didn't work out for them, so they lied, committed fraud, and told their children to ignore the law. The natural-born citizenship qualification for the office of president is not the kind of law we can afford to teach our children to ignore. It's not the $70 speeding ticket, or $25 loitering or littering ticket you get. It's the necessary authorization to officially enact every act of Congress, including health care. It requires unprecedented stupidity to ignore the Constitution. It takes unprecedented disrespect for America and all the sacrifices of moms and dads who hugged and kissed their sons and daughters off for the last time before they learned of their death in a war in or of the United States of America. The jurisdiction of the United States of America is marked with the stars on our flag. Citizen is defined by naturalization powers to Congress. They were given only powers to naturalize citizens or adopt them. The Naturalization Act adopted by Congress lawfully, but the natural-born citizen marked an allegiance of the unbroken allegiance by jurisdiction of the stars on our flag, and by both the allegiances of U.S. citizenship on soil and by U.S. citizen parents, by a father and a mother. Those who would shortcut that time are those who are haters of America, disrespectful of our law, tradition, our courts, and our history. Their interest is marked in self-service, greed, and ultimately an enslavement of American children that since 2008 is marked by $10 trillion. That's $70,000 per man, woman, and child in the United States of America. Oh, they don't want to call it slavery. They don't want to be called bullies of the law. They don't want their children knowing how they mismanaged their futures. And they don't want to be called slave masters living in a house built by their slaves. But let's not kid ourselves about qualification versus usurpation. There is a difference. The American public has come to witness one high point in American history that is equally a low point. The revelations of the Democratic Party chairman Debbie Wasserman Schultz's resignation after the Democratic Party National Convention is a witness brought to the American public of the catastrophic, fraudulent favoritism exploited by WikiLeaks. While the public sees this as an understanding of capsizing Bernie Sanders' campaign, the treatment of my campaign for president received far worse, blatant discrimination in what I reflect as a violation of the 15th Amendment, because half the nation is subject to this fraudulent behavior. The tyrannical imposing of the ideology of the Democratic chair and her surrogates stifled choice, gagged debates, and compromised a fair, balanced election process. So while Debbie's choice of Hillary has indeed resulted in the first female to gain a major political party's nomination, how sad. For women, it was fraudulently achieved and compromised the Democratic Party standards of fairness, equality, and inclusiveness. It has left the Democratic Party bankrupt of any moral high ground. Quite an embarrassment. If you have to cheat to win, what good has the right to even vote done you? If you have to cheat to win, what good has the right to vote even done you? The truth is, Hillary Clinton should not accept or represent the nomination or the guarded responsibility of the values of the Democratic Party because she has long left them. I'm Cody Robert Judy. You can visit my website at www.codyjudy.us and read my blog at www.codyjudy.blogspot.com. God bless you and God bless America.
Just live, beautiful, beautiful, there. Just live, just live, just live.